Shalom, family. I'm coming to you today with a message for anyone who feels as though they are prophetically exhausted, where they have heard so much good news, but they're not yet holding the good news physically. We are at the gate of probably the most important of all of our celebrations as Christians. Jesus came to die. That was the whole purpose. He came. He came that he might die, that we might live. And we're about to celebrate that. And I just want to give a word of encouragement to those who feel as though they have been in a state of waiting since the beginning of the year towards the end of last year. You heard so many prophetic words, so many prophecies, and you're thinking to yourself, but we've come this far in the year and I'm not seeing any movement. I want to encourage you with a verse here. Matthew 27, we're going to start from verse 51. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. So the verse before that, Matthew 27, verse 50. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. Here's our part. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Let's just look at the sequence of that. So saints who had slept, they were dead. They were buried. It's pretty much like the valley of dry bones. They're gone, no hope for them, it's over. But at the instance of the earthquake, of his death, of the reason he came, he gave up the ghost and they came to life. The Bible tells us they arose. Now this is the part that really gets me. They arose, they're awake, and they lay in those graves for 3 days. No food, no water, no showing, no communication. They're alive. But for 3 days, they sit down in the grave and do nothing. On the third day, when he resurrected, as he ascended, they too woke up. And so as the church, there's a couple of things we need to realize. I know you've heard a prophetic word. I know you're probably weary, tired, prophecy weary, like you've had enough because you're hearing, but you're not seeing it come to fruition. You must understand that with God, everything is process. Everything is in its own time, in its own season. And so you are alive. I want you to know that even though you look around you and you still see the mud of the grave or the stones of the tomb, like the situation, the environment has not changed, it doesn't change the fact that he died. And when he died, he sent through such an earthquake that shook and broke down all of the structures and the systems and the foundations and the altars that had been set up to keep you in that situation, that had been set up to mimic death all around you. He's risen, and so have you. The thing is that they stay there awaiting the resurrection of the Lord. They await the movement of the general, of the Lord of hosts, of he who must lead, take the step forward. So the fact that you've heard a prophetic word, your next step should not be, I'm coming out, I'm showing up. No, your next step should be, okay, I know you said this will happen, but I'm going to wait till you take the first step, till you lead the way. And so it was almost like a procession as he arose to ascend, and then these saints now get up. And the Bible tells us that they came out of the graves after the resurrection on the third day. In 2023, we're in the third day. In fact, right now as I speak to you, we're in the third day of the third decade of the third millennium. So threes are lining up. It is the time of resurrection. I want to promise you that the time of sitting down in that grave is over. And then, this is the part that excites us, and appeared unto many. They did not appear to a few. They did not go to their families and just the people who loved them. They appeared to many. And that many was a constituency of those who didn't wish them well and those who did wish them well. Those who were saddened by their death and those who were excited by their death. Those who tried to prevent their death and those who were the actual cause of their death. They appeared unto many. Your appearing is going to be unto many. Your story is going to cause many to believe that indeed there is a God who rules in the affairs of men. He causes some to come down and some to go up. It's not going to be the kind of rising where, all the people who got to see you in your dead state still remember you in your dead state. And that's how they're going to die, remembering you, because they never see you rise again. He is going to make a big deal out of it. He is going to make a spectacle of your rising. He's going to take you. It doesn't say, and they appeared. They could have just gone to their families and appeared to the families. No, they appeared unto many. There are many who need to see the completion of your testimony for them to overcome. Because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. You just need that patience and an understanding of times and seasons. And this is such a time and season. And so I'm hoping, I can imagine what they were doing in the graves for 3 days, alive, not distracted by interactions, not distracted by social engagements. They were not distracted even by trying to think of what to have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And they lay in that grave and they had time to think of what they would do when they appeared. Today is the day of your rising. It is the day of your appearance. I'm hoping that you've had time to think of what to do with that appearance, because your appearance is going to have such an influence on so many. Your appearance is going to be put on such a pedestal that it impacts and it affects so many. And it would be useless if you rose and did not arise others with you, if you rose and did not take others with you. So the many who are going to see you rising up in this season have got to have their lives impacted and changed by everything that you have been through. It is the 3rd day. Are you ready? So I'm excited for you. I hope you are excited for you. And I want you to look forward to this Passover as one that is different from any that you have ever experienced. Indeed, he is risen. Shalom.